industry in a variety of capacities. And as I began working in earnest with Al, it was kind of interesting to me, how could this industry have so many people that start in January and leave by September? In some cases, a very high percentage, in some cases, perhaps a low percentage. And as I got more and more involved with the company and more involved with our customers and started looking at some of the issues, Al and I came to meet Dr. Bedford and look at a lot of things that he was doing, and we thought it'd be very good to have him here today. Because one of my conclusions was, if this was a simple problem, it would have been solved already. A lot of bright people, a lot of investments already to try and solve problems like this that really haven't yielded the kinds of results that many people were expecting. And in our getting to know Dr. Bedford and his work, what we saw was a level of thoroughness in really exploring the drivers of the situation and the problem, the challenge of nutrition, that was deeper than what we had seen from other groups that we had met. Another thing that we saw, and Dr. Bedford will talk about this, is that while there's some themes to the nutrition problem that are common, there are also a lot of themes and variables that are not. So it takes a deeper analysis to get to the bottom of that. We all talk about engagement and usage, but demographics, income segmentation around the club, economic environment around the club, so there's a whole host of other complexities, competitive environment that drive these factors. When you see Dr. Bedford's presentation, you might be also inclined to remember one of the old aphorisms, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. But from when we look at the work that he's done, he's looked more deeply into the problem and used statistics in the right way to try and understand the causes and effects. After he's done with his talk and questions, we'll explain a little more about an offer we have for you and some of our work in the data warehouse that applies to this problem. So without any further delay, I'll introduce Dr. Bedford.
Okay, a couple of housekeeping things. You may have noticed that I've pulled the curtain across. That's not so you can drift off to sleep once you've finished eating. It is so that I'm going to video this session so that if you're more interested in the food than the stuff I want to say, you can watch it back at a later date. But this won't be on YouTube. I'll make it available from Motionsoft and you can go and watch it. And if I don't draw the curtain, all I look like is a silhouette because the light's coming in from this side. So enjoy your lunch. I'm going to talk while I'm having lunch. I've probably got enough information for about 4 or 5 days worth of presentation. I've got about 40 minutes. So I've tried to keep the slides as concise as possible. And if you want to discuss areas of the content with me at some point, just get in touch. Now, I tend to walk around. I'm not a traditional stand at the lectern type presenter. I like usually a lapel mic and I walk around and talk. The stuff I've got here today, what I wanted to do was show you some of the most straightforward strategies that can be deployed to improve health, top liver retention. Now, you'll see from the title on the slide that one of the things I highlight first of all is, actually, if we want to start improving how long our customers stay within the health club industry, we should stop counting how many leave. Which we're always like, whoa! Well, we want to count how many join, of course, how many leave, but the part that's of interest to me is, what's the gap between join and leave? How long do they stay? How long do they live within our businesses for? Now, there's going to be some statistics in this, not a huge amount. Just to give you a range of examples of operators I work with. Does anyone here have any of you ever heard of KICS? They're in London. I wouldn't expect you to because you're not from London, but anyone heard of KICS? Okay, you're probably not their target market then. I'd never heard of them until they rang me. It's £5,000 joining fee, and it's £5,500 for your first year's membership. And it doesn't go down after that. The first time I went there, Prince Harry was running on a treadmill. Will Smith of Hollywood was doing a boxing session because he was in town to promote some event. And Madonna was having PT with her personal trainer in one of the private studios while they were rebuilding her Pilates studio at home. I tried not to look impressed. I just thought, yeah, I'm used to this. Isn't that Prince Harry? Yeah. Okay. So £10,500 to join for the first year. The Gym Group, budget operator in the UK, 800,000 members. They've signed in the last 5 years, £15 a month. So I work with them as well. So across the spectrum. So your choice. If you've got £10,500 to spend, you can have 1 year's membership at Kicks or 55 years membership with the Gym Group. Now, what I'm going to refer to as the traditional method for measuring attrition is something the industry's been using for years, and it's a method where at the beginning of a period of time you take all your existing members, you add on all the members that have joined over a period of a year, and you count up all the people who've lost over a period of a year, and you do some level of division to work out a percentage. I'm trying to think of an American, I want to cuss. I want to swear. It's rubbish. From a statistical perspective and a business metrics point of view, it is absolute rubbish. Because you've got two moving points all the time, joiners and leavers. I'm going to show you in a second why I consider it to be rubbish and I think you should stop using it. And if you have any members of your staff spending any time calculating this, I'd like to know how you take action based on this. Because each month someone comes in and says, what's our attrition? Oh, it's 7% this month. Oh, it was 6% last month. What's happened? It doesn't take into account how long people have stayed. It doesn't take into account the difference between the number of months they've been involved. Now, I approached one of the major trade organisations in the US. I've spoken for them for the last 13 years at their conferences all over the West Coast. And I asked them, where does this come from? Because you promote this on your website. In fact, that's taken from their website, if you can find it. And they said, I said, where's it come from? Oh, I don't know. That was the response from their research director. Well, can you find out? So we went to another person who'd been with the organisation for longer, and we went to another person who'd been there even longer, and someone finally said to me, oh, two guys made it up one afternoon over a coffee. And our industry has used this as the benchmark for measuring member behaviour ever since. You won't find it in any business metric books. You will not find it in the statistical methodology books. You won't find any other industries using it. But we hang on to it and we quote the numbers from it as if they are handed down from above. And I get really frustrated because a lot of the people I work with, well, they come to me and go, we've got attrition of this, and I don't care. I don't know how long they stay. How long do they live for? So I want to just show you how that works just briefly. I'm going to call it Paul's Health Club. We start the year with 1,000 members, so my sales team has sold 1,000 memberships. And then every month for 12 months, we sell 100 memberships. Okay, let's see how sharp you are. How many total memberships have we sold in 1 year? It's not a trick question, it's the simple one. 1,200. Thank you. There's a couple of people still adding it up in the notes. Okay, all right, and we lose 100 per month every month, so therefore we lose 1,200. So at the end of the year, we have 1,000 members. Now what we don't know is which of the 1,000 members at the beginning of this period are still with us at the end, and how long any of these stayed. So did they join in January but they were the 100 leavers in February, or did they join in January and leave in June? We also can't compare club by club because depending on the size of the club, 5% in one club is not equal to 5% in another club. I can show you that another time or in another video if you want to watch it. Now, so we have 1,200 members join, 1,200 members quit. If my sales team sell 150 every month consistently, your attrition figure goes down, not because you're losing any less, but because you're selling more. If my sales team don't sell less memberships, so I do nothing to the number of leavers, but only 50 memberships get sold each month, attrition in this calculation goes up, not because we're losing more members, because our sales team aren't selling it. And what confuses people is that both of these numbers change all the time. So you've got two moving points all the time. And if you use that traditional method of measuring, you're going to end up with a figure that says you've got 83% attrition. I have no idea what that means. 83% of people do what when? Well, I do have an idea of what it means. All it means is that within a 12-month period, compared to the number we started, or including the number we started with and the number we joined, 83% of our members have a cancellation date some point in that period. And we don't know if it's after a month, or after 5 months, or after 6 months. So my advice to you, and I'm getting quite aggressive about this, please stop doing it. You're putting time and effort into something that's not actually helping you making business decisions. Or if you are making business decisions on it, can you buy my lottery tickets? Because I think that's about as accurate as it could be as a predictor. So the technique for measuring this type of approach is a standard approach used in lots of industries. It's used in engineering, insurance. Your health insurance premiums are calculated using this method. How long are you going to live for? They want to try and predict, based on a number of variables, how long you'll live for. Food manufacture. That expiry date on the food packaging is measured in this way. It's called survival or time to event analysis. And for us, it just means what's the gap between when they join and when they leave, and I present it in months. You can do it in days or years, but months is the way our industry tends to think about members, particularly if we're selling contracts or agreements that run on a monthly basis. Okay, so this is a generalised image, and I use it to explain quite a lot of things. 3 clubs represented up here. This is a survival analysis. All you're seeing here is that for all the people that have joined, this is the number. I'm going to say this is in weeks just to counter my example, but let's say it's a year. Which one of those clubs is performing financially the best? You can do it by colour or letter, don't care. Or shape.
Red.
Red. The members are joining, they're staying, but sometimes towards the end of the 12-month period, they're quitting. Which club would you not want to be managing or owning? C. Yeah, it's a big, on the projector, this is an orange, but it's coming out here. This one. So we've got members who are joining, not staying very long and quitting really quickly into their membership period. If you use the traditional method, if we took this and said, this is 100 people, and a 12-month period, these all have the same attrition figure. Because you started with the same number and you end with the same number. Which one of those would make you the most money? The red one. Now, the other reason I show this is, I can't remember who said it this morning. I know it was within the first panel, but I don't want to attribute blame. Now, I'm now working quite a lot of the time with venture capitalists who are going into clubs and saying, give us your data, so we can give it to Paul, so we can work out what the value of your club is. Because you could be saying, oh, we've got this great club, we sell 100,000 memberships, and our attrition is 38%. Well, those people who I'm working with now say, show us when they stop coming, show us when they stop paying. We want to see what the value of the length of membership is. And so someone was saying, I can't remember which one of you guys was saying it, but one of you said, handing over the data when you're trying to sell your club to someone else, particularly if they hand it to me, is not a good thing. Because I can start showing the buyer just how well the business is going from a financial perspective. The other thing I would say also, just to use this as an example, let's say you are a multi-site operator, and I know most of you here are multi-site operators. If this is 3 of your different clubs, your retention strategy needs to be different for the 3 different clubs. Because what's causing the problem here is not the same thing that's causing the problem here. And so trying to use a one-size-fits-all across multi-site operators is not a strategic way of improving retention. You can't even do this geographically. You often have to do it by problem. You cluster your clubs by problem, not by location. Something else to consider, just while it's up here. If you're keeping your members, let's say for 6 months, and then they're falling away, and you put a retention strategy in today, how long do you have to wait before you're likely to see the benefits of that retention strategy? At least 6 months. Because if they're already staying for 6 months and then they drop away, doing something up here that would solve this problem is not going to show up for quite a while. So if you're presenting to your board your reason for investing in a retention strategy, you want to know, actually, we'll start seeing a return on this at this period of time. Also, I'd argue that how do you buy retention solutions if you don't know the shape of that curve? Are you just going out and buying things that are for sale? Someone says, well, we've got a strategy for improving retention. Buy this. It's a gym induction process. Well, obviously, if you've got the red club, you don't need a gym induction process because you're already holding on to members. You need something else that's private member engagement further down and the way in which you interact with them. So, yeah, sorry to be spoiling your lunch. Give you some idea of the size and scope of the studies that I do. This was we called this the National Retention Report, the White Report for the UK in 2012. It was a study over a 4-year period, 342,759 members, with 39 different operators representing 100 clubs. The 100 clubs represented the distribution of types of clubs in the UK market. So it wasn't all from high-end, low-end, low-cost. They actually represented the market as a whole. And that was, to date, that's the biggest study that's been done in any one environment. I'm currently working on one from the New Zealand fitness industry that we'll report on in November. I'm going back to New Zealand to do that. I'm working on one for the North American market. Well, I will be, I hope to be. But this is what the curve looks like in the UK. Okay, of all the people that joined, 52% of them are gone within the first 12 months of membership. 24% are left, 48% have gone, we're only left at 52%. 24% are left after 24 months, 14% are left after 36 months, and just 10% are left after 4 years. Now, a friend of mine, a guy called Aaron Williams, who works with Live Fitness, known him for years, he took this slide, he had a copy of it from me, and he turned it around. He showed it as a growth curve. And he said to a whole group of investors, if this was our industry, who would invest? And they were all like, and he said, well, actually, this is our industry, and this is how long we hold on to customers for. Who's ready to invest? And it really, like, you can imagine, it rocked the room. All the people north of the red line can't get any results from your business. All the people north of the red line can't purchase any secondary spend products from you, personal training, protein drinks. They're not there to purchase from you. The only ones who are giving you income are the ones that are below the red line. I want to ask a general, I haven't thought of this question. I was literally thinking of it when I was waiting to start. How many of you run personal training within your facilities? I know that's a daft question because you all do. How many of you got teams that run your personal training? Is personal training the biggest income generator in your business? What's the biggest income generator? So let me ask a question. Does personal training generate more income than membership dues? Does anyone have more money coming in from PT than from membership dues? Okay. How many people have you got on staff managing and running PT? How many people have you got on staff directly focused on managing retention within your business? Does anyone have a retention team within their business? Cool. Does anyone have it in their job title? So, not important. Well, it can't be, because if the industry's not focusing on it, it can't be well that important. Sorry, you're going to have to get used to the English humour and the dryness. Okay, I call this a pilot study. A lot of people would call this a pilot study. This was a study of 181,000 members in the central southwest of the United States, and the data came from 97 clubs. Did this last year, just to see if the quality of the data I could get access to was feasible to do a bigger study in the American market. I was able to get both payment data and visit data. And so what the next one shows you, what the next one shows you is the blue line is when they stopped paying, the red line is when they stopped visiting. Because there is a difference between visiting and paying. And there is a relationship between visiting and paying. And what we're starting to see is that people who stop visiting in the early stages stop paying fairly quickly because they realise they've not actually adjusted to the process. People more into the mid-term of their membership, even if they stop coming, they think they're coming back, so they carry on paying for a few extra months. But further down it comes together again. We were seeing about a 5-month lag time between stop visiting and stop paying. But we want to know when they stop paying, when they stop visiting. Now, some operators have approached me and said, "Can you teach us how to keep them paying while not visiting?" I don't do that. I can teach them how to do that, but I don't do that. Unfortunately, I only work with 12 clients a year, so I work with people who want to improve the quality of the experience of the member and make more money from doing that. But if we break it down just slightly further, in terms of visits, the 25th percentile, lowest 25% of the members only came for 4 months. The average length of the membership visits was 8 months, but the top 25th percentile were visiting for at least 18 months before quitting. That's a huge range. What I would suggest is, if these were really close together, if this went 7, 8, 9, I'd go and work on something else. Because it's actually, that's not that much different. But because these are so different, there's actually a lot to play with here. You can manipulate these. Months of payment, 6 months, 13 and 24 months of payment. How much extra is that worth to you as a business? If these were, let's take these as 3 clubs for example. Your worst performing club, your best performing club. Yeah, you're using the same management system, you're using the same approaches, but for some reason it's not clicking in one club and it's really clicking in another. This is what that retention curve looks. Oh no, I apologise. Put your hand up if you're an operator in this room, you run clubs, and you've got more than 10 sites. I haven't, but I put my hand up, you put your hand up. All right. Well, one of the people who just put their hand up, this is their data. Because very kindly, someone within this room agreed to share data from their business with me in advance of this meeting so that I could do some analysis. So this is one of you. What it shows here is that this operator, across to the clubs that I analysed for them, on average they keep their members for 12 months. 54% of their members stay 12 months. And the average length of membership, an average should always be calculated with the median, not the mean. You can't use the mean to calculate health club membership length because it's not evenly distributed. Yeah? It's skewed. So you run a line here from the 50th right the way across. That comes down about 13 months. What do you notice about the shape of that curve? Any things that sort of strike you about it?
Month 2's got a big drop.
Month 2's got a drop, it's got a cliff. What do you reckon that suggests? Have a guess. How about this operator was selling 2-month premiums? Or ran promotions that were like a summer promotion. And that's the effect of the summer promotion. Because this doesn't run January, February, March. This is everybody who's been a member 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Well, these people are dropping out 2 months. And I'm reckoning that's about 5%. Where else are we seeing that cliff, or a similar cliff? About 12 months. We expect that if they're selling 12-month agreements, at some point there'll be people who get to the end of their agreement and they'll stop paying. We've got one here. What do you reckon that one is? I'm going to call that 14 months. I think it's a little bit more than that. But what do you reckon what was that then? Yeah, that's a classic. Buy 12 months, get 2 months free. Not quite sure what the one is up here at 24. They may be selling 24-month contracts. We're not allowed to do that in the UK. We can only sell 12-month maximum. New Zealand, 24-month contracts. Scandinavia, 24-month contracts. UK, 12. That's maximum we can do. Some parts of Europe can't sell contracts. Not allowed. Because they're financial regulations. How useful would that be to you as an operator in terms of looking at your strategy? If that was a club, if you're just looking at one club. Okay, now, rather than put one of these up with 10, 12 different lines on it, I've changed the format in which I'm displaying the data. So the data now looks like this. Down the side are cities. I've renamed their clubs by cities because you'd know who the operator was if it listed all their clubs, particularly as, well, no, I won't go there. Okay, and what you're seeing here is the average length of stay of membership in months. And you can see the example here, Portland, they stay about 10 months, Boston, they stay about 10 months. In the club I've labelled as New York, 17 months, Dallas, I call it 17 months. So there are 2 clubs there that are getting 7 months more membership from its members compared to 2 comparable clubs within the same chain. And, okay, we can start to explore this in a greater level of what's causing that. But I can probably suggest this. I bet the sales team in Portland and Boston are good. They better be good, because otherwise you're going to be losing so many members. They're not even staying for the first year. So you've got to be able to drive sales, and sometimes the sales strategies that are used actually affect how long people stay and how quickly they quit. Now, when I do report attrition, I use a method where we measure it as a rate, so we can make direct comparisons. Now, the rate here is for every 1,000 members in a club, 38 of them are quitting every month. And here, for every 1,000 members, 75 of them are quitting every month. Almost double the amount of quit rate on a comparable measure. So we're not measuring this on a percentage, 5%, 6%. We're measuring a rate by 1,000. So if we take, let me see if I remember if I did it right. I've not done this line. Let me just, sorry, I'm going mental. Oh yeah, it's all right, it's on this one. It's on the New York slide. The difference between Portland and New York, Portland was a 10-month membership, New York was a 17-month membership. The difference in income in month 12 between those sites is $32,000 based on 1,000 members. Now I bet these aren't 1,000 member clubs. If you took New York and it was no, sorry, it's not on 1 month, it's at the end of the year. If you took New York, that's an increase for 5,000 member club, that's an extra $164,000 of revenue. Now, if you've got 10 sites, or 20 sites, or 30 sites, or 40 sites, or 50 sites, how much revenue is being lost through not holding on to the members?
Millions.
Millions, absolutely millions. Yeah, it's a shame. And it's a shame for the members as well, because for the members, they're not getting results. If they're not with you, we'll assume for the purpose of this presentation, they're not with anybody. I can't tell you where they go. I have done studies on where they go once they leave you and who they go to and why they join and why they stay and why they quit and that whole cycle of things. But I'm looking to do something later this year with 1 million member North American members. North American, not just US, I want to include Canada within that as well. But I'll talk about that a little bit. Things that we would consider as unmodifiable variables: age, location, gender, sector. So what type of the market you're in. Use slightly different classifications for sector than I would use, all right? Just because we're the other side of the pond, we use different language. It's not all the same. But something I can tell you, age always looks like this. This is a piece of data I'm presenting in a couple of weeks' time in Spain. Older members always stay longer than younger members, always, every single time, every country in the world, every club we've ever done. We've done this over 1,000 times. Older members stay longer than younger members. In the UK market, and in fact even in the Spanish market, you are old if you are over the age of 35. Your behaviour begins to become different. The challenge is, it's easy to sell to the younger market. But the amount of time and effort you put into younger members is equal to the amount of time and effort you put into the older members. But they stay about, the older members always stay longer. The proportion of members as you get older always gets smaller and smaller and smaller. If you could just shift who you sell your memberships to by a 10-year age category, so from the under 24s to the into 25 to 34s, you would see an increase in retention without actually, all you have to do is just adjust your marketing to attract more people like that. And you better make sure your product offering also matches that. You can see here, members aged 16 to 24 stay 5.7 months. Members over the age of 45 stay longer than 21 months. 16 months or more extra revenue from a 45-year-old to a 16 to 24-year-old. And now I've upset salespeople massively, and I love it, in saying you should pay different commission based on age. Because the older ones are worth more. And the salespeople go, you can't do that, you can't do that, we've done it, and they've gone, can we have more marketing material that markets older members? Because once their commission's based on age, they suddenly find ways to sell to older members. So one of the things, one of the strategies, students worst. Students, I know some of you sell a lot of student memberships, they quit faster than any other group we've ever seen anywhere in the world. My advice to you, free bit of advice, no consultation fee attached. Sell a student membership as a one-off fee at the beginning of their university year, and the cost of it is 9 months for the price of 12. Because you guarantee 9 months worth of membership. They love the concept that they're going to get the extra 3 months, which they're not going to use because that's when they go home. But you get the money up front, you don't take it payment by payment. That'll change the bottom line. Things we, what was the other, there was age, what else was up there? Gender. We've never seen any difference between gender, between men and women, how long they stay. Which does question people who do group exercise stay longer than people who don't do group exercise, because most people who do group exercise are women. I know that's changing with things like creative insanity and things like that, but we've never seen any difference between how long people stay. They do different activities, but they pretty much stay the same. Sector, private sector, because this relates to my market, the private sector, the private health club operators do better. The independents do better than the chains, the hotels do better than the chains. So it goes independent health club operator, hotel operator, chains. Because in the UK, hotels operate health clubs in the same way you would operate health clubs. They just happen to be in hotels. They're not like the fitness facility here, they're full-blown clubs. Things you can modify: the induction process, the level of interaction, visit frequency, contract types and pricing policy. Just as a few. I've kept this really simple because there's lots of other things you can do, but I think these ones really resonate and are really easy to explain. Making at least 4 visits per month reduces the risk of cancellation by 29%. That's 1 a week. When visit frequency drops below once a week, membership attrition rises. They quit more. They've broken the habit. What becomes really important is in the first 4 to 8 weeks, they must make at least 1 visit per week in order to begin the habit. We've also seen recently that if they come more than 3 times a week in the first 4 weeks, they also quit really quickly. Particularly if they're new to exercise. If they're experienced or what I call savvy exercisers, then they come in, they just pick up their routine where they left off and keep going. But if they're new to exercise and they try and do more than 3 sessions a week in the first 4 weeks, it's too much. They've tried to change their lifestyle behaviours too quickly and it overwhelms them. Okay, for my PhD study, I'm just a little bit of my background. I started as a gym instructor. I worked my way all the way through, did PT, did general manager roles in different types of clubs. I've never been a sales manager, although I've done sales. And I worked in YMCAs and other types of organisations. I went and studied for my academic qualifications. I have 2 masters and a PhD because I wanted to understand how we could keep people exercising for longer. So I did a master's in exercise psychology and then a research master's, and then I did my PhD. I had no intention of staying an academic. I had no plans to become based in a university doing academic research and talking about it to other academics. All I wanted to do was do research and we could look at our industry. My PhD looked at gym induction approaches because when we reported that you can reduce attrition by 29 or reduce cancellations, maybe call that attrition, by 29% if they come once a week in the first 4 weeks, lots of operators in the UK started to put multiple appointment gym inductions into place. So when you join, instead of being a 1 hour consultation, it became a 1 hour plus another hour, plus another hour, plus another hour to make you come in. I was never convinced that just teaching people more exercise equipment or giving them fitness tests or nutritional surveys actually helped them stay any longer. So I based mine on, actually, if we're going to have multiple appointments, let's do behaviour change stuff, let's do habit forming stuff. So what you see there is this is a standard 1 hour gym orientation. This is your lifestyle questionnaire, a little bit about your goals, some demonstration of equipment by a fitness professional, practice of that equipment, and then a program written for that person to walk away and use. Standard 1 hour practice in the UK. This, the red line, was also a 1 hour approach using that, plus 3 additional sessions done on the gym floor. 1 per week in the first 4 weeks. 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes with using conversational behaviour change techniques. Asking questions that guide people, building rapport, challenging some of their beliefs in a way that they don't feel compromised. And we got 7 extra months out of people when we talk about the habit of exercise rather than more equipment. Got to tell you, that was a failure in terms of what I was trying to achieve with my PhD. Because what I wanted to show in the PhD was that actually if you talk about behaviour change, they come more frequently. They didn't. Both of those groups visited 1.2 visits per week. I didn't increase visit frequency, which in terms of the academic process, although I got my PhD and we could show that I understood what I was doing, didn't give me the outcome I wanted, because I wanted to show you could get people to achieve more. But operators seem to like this. So they stay longer but only come 1.2 times per week, which really is once a week, because most months have 5 weeks in them. You can't do 0.2 of a visit, can you? Interactions, so you can manipulate the induction process to keep people for longer. Most of what we do is what I would describe as if you had driver education for an hour, they show you all your things you need to do and say, go off and practice and we'll see you when you're ready. Imagine if you learned to drive like that. Everything in an hour. 1 instructor, all the techniques, get in the car, go and practice on your own. I've seen someone driving in New York, I would suggest that does take place. But, so we can manipulate the induction process. We can look at the visit frequency, because if they don't visit, we can't interact. So we want to prompt visit frequency. Now, we don't want to over-prompt it. What I would suggest to you is that you start promoting visit frequency on a monthly basis target, not a weekly basis. So you're talking about coming between 4 and 12 times a month, not 3 times a week. And I'd also suggest you use the words in front of that, build up to. Build up to 4 to 12 times a week, 12 times a week, a month. Not that's the starting point, because for a lot of people, changing their behaviour so dramatically that they can start doing anything new 3 times a week for at least an hour is too much. So this is the study we did on interaction, and the likelihood of still being a member next month if I speak to you this month. Now, I spent a day training some fitness teams. These weren't high-end personal trainers. These were the guys that were doing the grunt work, as I would describe it, member inductions, being around on the fitness floor doing cleaning. We gave them 7 techniques to start and maintain conversations. What we were able to do was this. If they had 1 interaction in a 4-week period, the likelihood of them still being a member next month went up by 20%. If we spoke to the member 2 to 3 times, that does require 2 to 3 visits, in 1 month, the chances of them still being a member in the next month went up by 50%. If we spoke to them 4 times in, what are we, September? Yeah. 4 times in September, the chances of being a member in October went up by 80%. That means we only need to speak to them once per week. But here's the really important part. It's at the place where they do their exercise. It's not front of house. It's not guest services, it's not the sales team. That has an impact, but nothing like that. This is the group exercise teacher welcoming someone into the class today. This is someone on the fitness floor giving you some recognition. I saw you. Don't have to have a conversation. It can just be as little as, we made eye contact, you fine, you good? Fine. Do you need anything from me? No? Okay, fine. As little as that. It can be much more than that, but you can have a massive impact. And listening to the conversations that were going on this morning in the presentations, for me, this is where technology should be supporting us. Helping our staff have easier, frictionless interactions with customers. The bit of tech I asked for. Who's product manager? Well, the bit of tech I asked for. I want, and I don't think they need to look like Google Glass. I want a set of glasses that when it augments reality, and as I look at a table, I can go, oh, not a table, someone working out, and go, he's working out at this heart rate, his name's this, these are his goals, and it's coming up in my Google Glass. What is your name?
Did you get that, Frank?
David. Okay. So I look around the room, I see that, and I can then walk past and go, hi David, everything fine? I can use his name. That's what I want from tech. For me, that's usable technology. Yeah? Or the flashing red sign that comes up and says, don't talk to David. 5 people have already spoken to him today and tried to send him PT. Okay, I've been warned about time, so I'm going to push on really quick. Who here thinks selling 1-month memberships is easier than selling longer memberships? Is it easier to sell something that's a month-by-month agreement? Yeah. Yeah, this is a month-by-month agreement on how long people stay. So's that one. Easy in, easy out. In fact, do this for me. If you have to go back and instruct sales team, I know a lot of you are IT guys and you won't ever want to talk to salespeople. But if you go back into the clubs and there's salespeople there, can they stop saying you can leave at the end of the month before they've joined? As part of the sales process. You'll love our club. If you join today, you can leave in a month. Funny, I wasn't considering that, but now you put that in my mind, I'll consider it at the end of the month. That's ridiculous. How many people are getting fit for the month? Now, I know there's a lot of those out there, that 80%, who aren't doing a lot. They go, I can exercise for a month and that'll be it, I'll have the beach body. No. How many of them are coming in saying, actually, this is a new lifestyle choice for me? I want exercise to be part of my life. Yeah, for a month. That could only be 4 visits. In some, it might be 1. In about 5% of your memberships, they won't even visit. They'll join and they won't even visit. You'll get a month from them, but they won't visit. So you've got no opportunity to sell them anything else. Now, when I first started showing this, you can see that, look, these are the percentages that make the end of 12 months. 1-month contracts, 4-month contracts, 12-month contracts. In this club, 80% of the people on 12-month contracts make it to 12 months. Only 5% buying 1-month contracts make it to the end of 12 months. Here, it's 1 month, 20% make it, 50% make it, and there's this other, not 4 months, and this is 85% make it through to the end of 12 months. It's about packaging, it's about strategy, it's about the way you present that information. I don't know who I stole this from. I did steal this quote from someone. If you cannot demonstrate value, people will buy on price. If you cannot demonstrate the value of your product to them, not to you, all the things that turn you on, the things that turn them on, they'll go, how much is it? Because if it's a value, people don't ask that question so often. They go, can I afford it? Not how much is it? Or how can I afford it? If you're looking at trying to create what I call a compound effect, what you're looking to do is a number of things that will improve what's going on with your business. So if all members had a personal program, at least 1 follow-up appointment, have spoken to each visit, have used their club in the last 2 weeks, are confident of retaining their membership at 12 months, 57% of all cancellations would be avoided. You've got to deliver that though. That's got to be of meaning to the customer. Now I would guess that you've already got most of that in place, but whether it's consistently delivered in an approach that the customer values, as opposed to what you want to present, I don't know. A lot of the clubs and the operators I visit, you know, the induction process is actually just the continuation of the sales process with someone trying to sell PT. So they thought they joined and they thought that was it, and now actually that free induction is actually some PT really badly trying to sell their services. It's not a free induction, it's a sales pitch that you're tied into for an hour. And you have to get better at it. You can teach PTs how to sell without selling. It's a pretty straightforward process where people go, actually, I want to spend time with you. Just a couple of quick examples. Reebok Sport Club London. Let me give you a lowdown on some of the numbers. It's a corporate club, so think of it as being inside like the financial district, Wall Street type area. So it's busy before 9 AM, it's busy at lunchtime, it's busy afterwards, after work, it's quiet the rest of the day. You get the club to yourself. 100,000 square feet, there's about 7,500 members. They do 3,300 visits per day, Monday to Friday. They did over 90,000 visits in January this year, in 1 month. Yeah. The guys that own that club is independently owned. The guys that own that club, who I do work with and have been doing work with for quite a while, well, they first approached me and said, look, Paul, when the club first opened, we were doing all right, but actually the club went bust because there were more staff than members. So they did have good retention. But the actual model didn't work. So the new owners came in and they bought the club for £1 plus its £28 million worth of debt that it cost to build, finance and everything else. Ian Marley, who was the managing director at the time, who's now the chairman of the board, said to me, Paul, I've seen the work you've done with our people, can you do some work with us? Because it's actually getting worse. So I said, yeah, all right. We came in, we did some analysis of his business, and came back with some answers for him. He said, Paul, look, I'm thinking of introducing a 12-month contract because they have a steep joining fee, about £300 joining fee, and then a month-by-month rolling contract. And he said, I'm thinking of introducing a 12-month contract. Could you do some analysis for us and see what the break-even point would be? So I was like, yeah. He said, also, can you interview members and find out whether they buy it? So I did some face-to-face interviews with 1,000 members. Overwhelmingly, the members said, yeah, we'll buy that. If it's a discount, we'll sign up for 12 months. Interesting enough, average length of stay was 17 months on a month-by-month contract. What would have happened if they'd gone to a 12-month contract without doing the analysis? They'd have lost money. They lost 5 months' worth of revenue on every member. So the strategy going forward will stay as we are. Because otherwise what they have to try and do is sell us something that's longer than 17 months to be at least as equal to what they're already getting. The other interesting one with Hugh is, and because we had the data we could do it, members who had lockers stayed 4 months longer than people who didn't rent lockers. So renting lockers actually, the people who rented lockers stayed longer. For him he said it's a no-brainer. He said lockers compared to other things that I could do in my club cost relatively little money for an increase not only in locker revenue, but membership revenue. But I do know operators who've rushed out and put more lockers in that they rent, and it's had no impact on. So not everything works for everybody. But the impact we had with Ian, and he was really pleased with this, was we increased his revenue within the first 5 months of working with him. We changed some things about the way they orientate their new, younger, female, first-time user members. We increased his revenue by £80,000 a month, which he was happy with. It's probably the reason he keeps me coming in, because he's looking for another 80,000. It gets smaller. Every next increment up gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm just waiting to make the mistake of making it worse. Here's a multi-site operator in the UK. How about that in the third on the left-hand chart for a retention curve? Only 18% of their membership stay for the first 12 months. In fact, I think 50% of them are gone within 2 months. That's an awful lot of work, selling, marketing, putting through the business for that level of return. Now the same club, their best performing club, and we did this for all 44 sites, 70% of their members stayed 12 months. Now, we looked at the different things that were going on, and there were some things here that we couldn't change just because of the location of the club. Well, there were a lot of things we could change, and the actual major thing we changed was actually the way they sold their membership packages. So we actually created their membership solutions. They had 112 different types of membership, and we got it down to 5. Right. So we got it down to 5, and by getting it down to 5 and going through with the staff some behaviour change techniques that you can use when you're talking to people about staying committed to things, we increased their revenue by £11.5 million first year. I should have been on a percentage. I wasn't. You never know. Again, they're happy. I've been talking recently, how many of you are familiar in the UK, Virgin Active? Have you heard of Virgin? Big multi-site operator, one of the biggest in the UK. Their data guys came and see me present a similar sort of event to this. He said it was my event. And they sat there all day and we did some calculations, and I said, look, if I added 1 month of membership to your business for all of your existing members in the first 18 months, all those that stay a month, stay 2, all those that say 6, say 7, all that say 12, say 13, how much would that be worth to you? And Raj, is their data guy, sat there and we went through a few figures, and he went, £26 million across our business. And I was like, okay, how much would you pay me to get you £26 million in the next 18 months? Of course, he was like, that's not my department, Michael, mate. And I went, look, Raj, I said to the group, like, I said, if I could give you £26 million in 18 months, how many of you'd find £1 million for me? Who reckon they'd go out and find £1 million? And like, the whole room were like, we'll do it. And I said, even if you gave me 25 million, you'd still be $1 million up. And that's just in 8. And after that, it just carries on. Oh. And they keep ringing me and saying, can we come in and talk? Can you come and talk? No. You have to make a decision. Okay. One of the things that I struggle with, I'm limited by the data that's available from most of the software systems that are out there. And it's not the software system's faults necessarily, but often it's the data inputting. Even in the data I received from one of you to do the analysis and show you some of those clubs today, there were people who had cancellation dates before their join date. About 30,000 of them, in fact. There are people whose join date is the same date as their date of birth. King. There are people who their date of birth is 1900. Because that's the default date that puts in, if you've got an Excel spreadsheet running in the background of your system, if there's no date in there. So, I think there were about 54 people, age 112, which is possible, but I don't think so. It's just poor data entry, really poor data entry, not collecting data. One of the things I'm really fascinated by is I'm obviously working with a lot of low-cost operators who are really digital. And the amount of good quality data they capture because they're doing it online. You know, all their joining processes. The gym group, 800,000 members, all joined online. No salespeople. That's the data. It's like we've got 13 million pieces of data to play with. That is too much. Because I think actually we need to keep things simple. What are the things we can do? If we can capture, using technology, the data, what can we use that data to create solutions with? Not just, oh, we've got data for data's sake. We actually take that data and we use it to create strategies. We want to move from, and I think, I'm looking for him and I can't see him as soon as I say his name, I'll probably leave. Brian's still here from now. He was a second ago. He left. He knew I was going to talk about him. He was sitting there a second ago. One of the things he mentioned right at the end when he was talking was that what we've had to do so far with the data is look backwards and look at what's causing the problems. But where we're getting to now with technology and the data is actually be able to look at from correlation to causation, and we're actually going from being reactive to predictive, using predictive analytics at the individual level so that we can go, if they don't visit next week, we need to take action. Some of that action might be an analog action, a real person. Some of them it might be digital actions. But I think the other thing you have to consider with all of this is, what's your strategy for retention of the people you've already lost who might come back? Because how many of you are re-signing people you had before? There's a whole retention strategy. You can go in and just get people who were members of yours coming back. What we have seen is often they quit even faster the second time round. And the reason for that is what they weren't happy with the first time wasn't fixed when they came back, and it's the first thing they look for. So, with the use of data, we can do some very, very appropriate actions within our industry. If we want to grow our industry, we want to be able to keep actually the people who are really keen and walking through the door. We say we want to be part of this with us. I'm less interested whether they want to exercise outside. I'm fully focused on trying to keep them operating within club environments. Because if 20% of them want to do that, we should be happy to fulfill that. I think I've got to stop. I've seen this 5 minutes thing going up and down. And the book sign and the finish, and I don't know what the rules are, so I'm going to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Very engaging and informative presentation. In discussing our work with Paul and our data warehouse product that is integrated with Moso, it's really the industry's first warehouse that is fully fluid and taking information out of an integrated online system and put it in a shape and form that is usable. Whereas up until now, a lot of our larger customers have had to do is go buy a platform, design a data warehouse database, write the ETL routines, and do all that stuff on their own. We're putting them on the threshold of having a 70% solution they can tailor the standard usable modules right away out of the gate. In talking to Dr. Bedford, we said, you know what, there's a better way to even refine the modules in the warehouse over time to help people understand this better. And he also, as he mentioned earlier, wants to do a more comprehensive North American survey. So here's our offer. Every operator in the room, if you'd like to contribute data on 20% of your members to us, you'll get a custom report from Dr. Bedford, and we will also use that work in refining our deliverables out of the warehouse, and it could lead to something more for you, but at the same time, it's a good way to get some insight. If you're interested in that, please see me. I'm the guy with Al hanging around here. Many of you I know, some of you I don't. So come find me before the end of the day, and we'll follow up with you through email. So with that, we'll get on to the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.